So, you looted the majority of Ground Zero. You have yourself a nice AK-74U with a lot of rusty bullets or standard bullets, and now you think you're ready to face the first boss, Pato Chapo. But you're still worried he's gonna take you out. That's good, having a level of precaution is gonna keep you alive in Duckov. And don't worry, I'm gonna teach you everything you need to know to take him down, so let's get started. Pato Chapo is located on the right hand side of the map in Ground Zero, or the northern side. I didn't make the map, it is in fact tilted. He is located exactly on Road Camp. Now there's 4 entry points to get to this area, technically 5 if you're counting the underground tunnel. Now each point has a different level of difficulty. The easiest one in my opinion would probably be the underground tunnel. But don't worry, we're going to look at each point and we'll discuss their pros and their cons, especially depending on what activity you're going to do. Starting out with the top entry point, this one is the longest one, and honestly, in my personal opinion, it's probably the worst one. Simply because if you look on the map, you're gonna go through another entry point, which is basically the second best one in my opinion. So the only reason for someone to choose this point will probably be if they're trying to do another mission or they're trying to buy something else from the vendor that's located in the small hill. Something else to note is that you'll be fighting a lot of enemies to get to this point. Something that could be good or bad depending on your playstyle and how well you're equipped. But there's something good about this entry point, that being that it gives you access to a way to get into the compound or the area where Pato Chapo is located. This is especially good if you're doing a sniper build or a sniper run, because you'll be able to have the high ground and you'll be able to snipe him and his mercenaries. But still, I highly don't recommend this route simply because it's too long. That's what she said, and it really doesn't bring a lot of benefit unless you really like to use that extraction point on the top right. Now, the second point is located right under that one. Similar to the first one, it really is one of the worst entry points to fight Pato Chapo. The only difference between this one and the other one is that this one has a house that you can loot, but one of the doors is locked. You have to find the key. The key could spawn anywhere in Ground Zero, so good luck finding it. And even if you acquire the key, it does not give really good loot. So unless you really like to loot that house, I recommend also avoiding this one. But it does have the same advantage as the other one, which is it gives you access to the high ground to be able to snipe Pato Chapo. Moving on to what I would consider the second best entry point to fight Pato Chapo, and that is the middle entry point. Now, the middle entry point is quite easy to get to, and the only downside to it is basically you have to build a bridge. The bridge is quite easy to build. All you have to do is acquire 2 wood and you're able to build it. It shouldn't take you too long to just acquire those 2 pieces of wood, and with that, you're basically at the doorsteps of Pato Chapo. There won't be a lot of loot in this route, but again, it's one of the quickest ones, because of the speed in which you could farm Pato Chapo, and because there's also low enemies in this area. Hey guys, just to remind you, if you're liking the video, please leave a like and subscribe. Now, the fourth location is located on the bottom right, but it also requires you to build a bridge, which you'll also need 2 wood for. This location doesn't have a lot of things you could loot, and the enemies are relatively low in this area. The one advantage that this one has over the other ones is that it has access to the gym rat's home. The gym rat's home is home to, as the name says it, a gym rat. He will give you quests and other items back at base. At the start of the game, he will be there and you will be able to deliver quest items to him and he'll give you some items. But if you're facing Pato Chapo, he should be already in your home base after you build the gym. This area isn't too bad, but it does require you to walk a little bit further to Pato Chapo's location. Overall, it's not too bad, but it's not the greatest. Loot is relatively low in this area, but if you want something a little bit more calm, definitely take this route. Now, the final route is the underground tunnel. This area could be located all the way on the bottom right hand side. To get this entrance, you have to move 2 boxes around, and that would unlock the underground tunnel. This one you could enter and exit from the home base, and in my personal opinion, it's the best one, simply because as soon as you enter this one, you could exfil without worrying about enemies. Now, let's take a look at the main compound of Pato Chapo. The entry points I mentioned before this were the ones that would get you to the outskirts of his compound. Now we're going to look at the 3 main entry points. The first one, and honestly the easiest one, is the front entrance. Yes, it is in fact the easiest one. The second one is located to the left of road camp. This one is going to give you the advantage if you're using a sniper build, and it's going to give you the high ground. It's the second easiest. And the last one is located on the far right. This one is the hardest one, and we'll get into it why in a second, and that's what she said. So let's start out with the first one and the easiest one, being the front entrance. Why is this one the easiest one? Well, because you're able to lure a lot of his mercenaries one by one, and it makes it a lot easier to deal with. Now there is something here that you have to be careful of. The front of the entrance, as you just see, does have a couple of normal enemies. Just be careful not to get flanked by them and you should be okay. His mercenaries are the biggest problem when facing Pato Chapo, simply because they're equipped with level 2 body armor, and they're equipped with MP7s, to M4s, to MP5s, to UMP45s, so they really do pack a punch. And because this is the first map, a lot of your loot is probably not that high level. I highly recommend you eliminate one of them, lure him out and eliminate him, extract, fix up his broken armor if he has any, and then go back and rinse and repeat. Eventually, you're going to have a good bit of gear that you'll be able to clear out his mercenaries without any problem, and then you'll be able to face Pato Chapo. Inside the compound, you're going to face anywhere between 4 to 6 mercenaries. Keep in mind the game sometimes glitches out and you'll face maybe even 7. I've had one run where I actually had to face 2 Pato Chapos. That was very intense and a lot of fun, though I kinda hated it. Also, a couple of the normal enemies will in fact fight the mercenaries, so if you're very lucky, they will have eliminated at least one of them. Unlikely, just because the mercenaries hit a lot harder and they're a tougher enemy, but hey, you might get lucky. That's what she said. Once you eliminate all the mercenaries and you loot them, obviously loot them at the end of the boss fights, you'll have to face Pato Chapo. Now, Pato Chapo is always equipped with an AK-47 and standard bullets. He also has a level 3 body armor. As you can see in the fight, he shoots a lot and is able to break through a lot of the barriers. I recommend you heal up, you shoot him a couple of times, fall back, and rinse and repeat until you kill him. Do not try to out-tank him because you will not survive. Keep in mind, I am playing on Survivalist, I believe the second highest difficulty, but even if you're playing on a lower difficulty, I recommend being careful around him. Again, the main entrance is honestly the best one because you're able to pick off a lot of his mercenaries one by one and you don't have to fight all of them at the same time. Now, let's move on to the second location. The second location that I mentioned is the sub-compound located on the left of the main compound. To gain access to this area, you will have to find a keycard. Now, the keycard again could be located anywhere in Ground Zero. I honestly found it on my first day, if I'm not mistaken. If you have not unlocked the key registry, it's a device that allows you to put any key or keycard and it'll automatically unlock it in the main world. Then you will have to carry around that keycard. I know I've been repeating that word a lot, but it is necessary. But once you're able to open up the door, you'll be able to go inside. Inside this sub-compound, you're going to find a tactical box, which usually has some goodies, and if you're very lucky, you're going to find a weapon box. And there's also a small ammo box, but that's not why we're here. The main reason we're here is because once you clear out this small area, it only has one enemy, and there's a couple enemies outside the sub-compound, but nothing too serious. You'll be able to cross this small container and get the high ground on Pato Chapo and his mercenaries. If you're doing a sniper build or you have a weapon with a scope, you're honestly able just to snipe all the mercenaries and they usually won't be able to shoot you from this location. On this particular run that you see, I do not have a sniper rifle, but on my other save file, I am carrying a sniper rifle and trust me, it's very good. The reason I don't recommend this or this one isn't the best one to deal with Pato Chapo and his mercenaries is simply because to acquire a good sniper rifle early on in the game is kind of impossible, especially with the long distance scope. This is why it goes into the second spot, and even if you don't have a sniper rifle, you're still able to pick them off with a normal assault rifle or submachine gun or even a pistol. Now, let's go on to the third point. This is honestly the worst one for one simple reason. First, you need a crowbar to get access to this area. Now, a crowbar, you could either buy it, you could craft it, or you could find it. And while the crowbar isn't a bad melee weapon at this first starting area, the problem is it leads you right in front of all the mercenaries and Pato Chapo. Usually, they're all located in the middle section of the compound or located a little bit to the far right. Literally, where the entrance is located. This is why it's the worst one, because you would have to be facing all of the mercenaries and Pato Chapo. So unless you got some very high-end gear, this is not the route to go. Unless you really want to try out your luck, then take this entry point. But again, you would also have to clear out the forest. Now, the forest isn't too bad. I think it only has one wolf and a couple of normal NPCs. But still, just dealing with all of the mercenaries plus Pato Chapo at the same time could be a little bit overwhelming, especially if you're new to the game and don't have high gear. But once you clear out the compound, you'll be able to turn on the teleporter. This is a device, like the name says, that will allow you to teleport. Now, it won't teleport you right into the compound because then you'll be having to fight Pato Chapo every single time, but it'll spawn you somewhere close. All of the maps are connected through this teleporter, so I highly recommend you clear out this area and activate it. After that, there's not much else in the compound. Usually, 9 out of 10 times, you will have a weapon box. That is actually where I got the weapon that you see in the gameplay. And there's also a dismantling table located on the bottom left. Other things that you could find in here is probably a tactical box, a medic box, some saves that again you will require the key for, some containers, and more ammo boxes. Overall, this is a good place to farm before you start heading out to the other locations, simply because you'll be able to acquire some medium level gear, which you will need for the other areas. Now, a little bit about Pato Chapo. Pato Chapo was actually left behind by the scientists that were working on the teleporter. He was hired to protect them, and they simply ditched him here. After they ditched him, he was able to get his mercenary group to this location and basically safeguard it, and they all have military weapon gear, basically making them the default warlord of the whole Ground Zero map. And that would pretty much be it, boys. I hope you liked this little breakthrough and little story of Pato Chapo. If you guys would like to see another breakthrough of the other bosses within Escape from Duckov, please leave a comment and subscribe. And that would be all, boys. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.